Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as a Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by Harry Trades and a very, very excited GatorGuy231.
Let's go. Let's go. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Keith, I don't think there's anyone more fired up for the beginning of MLS than Keith, which you can tell already with the way he's acting and with the way that his gallery looks. Keith, what is the single thing that you are excited about? The single most thing you're excited about?
I have no idea. I just love MLS. Like, it's absolute chaos. It's goal notifications all over the place. I'll tell you what I'm the most excited about. Sean freaking PSU fans Newsham just bought a card because of MLS. I might have had something to do with that. You want to know we're back? We're back.
Like he spent money?
Yep.
On auction, Kevin Dinky. Let's go, Sean.
I had my eyes on that card. I had my eyes on it. I had a notification bell ticked, and then I looked at it this morning, 30 minutes ago, the old notification that you get, and I saw Sean had bid. Like I think he bid the previous night or whatever. I was like, I'm not gonna try and outbid Sean, but yeah, first time I'd seen. It was weird actually because I noticed this last night. Went on his gallery and saw that like he hadn't bought a card. Well, as we can probably show now, he hadn't bought a card for ages. He's just won a couple of cards over the last couple of months. And yeah, literally the first card he's bought in a long, long time.
Can I actually read the private convo real quick, just for the hell of it? So
you don't need our permission.
Yeah, there we go. So it's last night, like 7:30, me and him are talking, and he's like, when do you think the last time I bid on a card was? And I responded 2 months, and he goes, well, it's been 18 days, but I wasn't actually serious, but I might tomorrow. Here we are.
I just went to his gallery here to look at the last time he bought a card, and it was 20 days ago. He bought a Leonardo Campana Super.
Yeah, I remember that.
I saw that. I saw that as well. Yeah.
It was in the middle of me doing all my Super Rares too, and he goes, "Why didn't you buy this?" I go, "Because I don't want a striker that's gonna be gold depending." But Carl's Gill, yeah. So
makes sense.
It works out for him.
Yeah, we've got the Gator Guy Virgil van Dijk deal that we've talked about.
God, the fact that's been so long ago, and that's only the fourth one down. Man.
It was Halloween. Yeah, and then Kevin Danke. So congrats to PSU getting an in-season MLS card before in-season MLS cards come out. Way to be.
Hey, Zonka season, Harry.
Is
you and I.
No,
me. I have 2 Zonkas that's going to the Galaxy.
Yeah. I just meant there were 2 Dankies that went yesterday.
Oh.
Talk about how excited everyone is for Major League Soccer to return.
Is that other one above it? Is that in season?
Yeah.
Okay.
299 and 290, basically the same price.
Yep.
For a guy who's probably not gonna play with Lucho Acosta.
But
that's fine.
We'll talk more. But Lucho Acosta in training. Luca, the next playmaker in Cincinnati, Luca Orellana.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, no, Acosta.
All right, then it worked.
Anyway.
I'm rusty. You guys are going to have to do a lot of translating for the audience, but let's go.
Let's go. All right. Thank you to everybody for coming in. Alex, Parabolica Gamer, I'd say. And Dan Baskyfield on the podium. Congratulations to you 3. Dan said, after a weekend that saw me achieve 3 Division I relegations, as well as relegation from Rivals Division I. My God, Rivals Division I. These are the only podiums I'll be chasing from now on.
Toby, way to be, Dan. Way to be.
Stefania, Jesper, have I missed the podium today? The answer is yes. The catastrophe. Also, MLS is coming, but so are West Ham. Their season starts now.
Okay, Andy Black.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, Mikey Baston in the house. Oh yeah, Harry, how is your wrist?
My wrist? Oh yeah. It's fixed. Did you see the thumbnail? Yeah.
Sorry,
I managed to source a new one. I've got a timepiece trader. Don't worry.
Yeah. Harry's taken his thumbnails to the next level. But yeah, there was a little wrist issue, but it's all fixed. So anyway,
It's fixed.
Tom, what's up? Instant Zen, Chicago Fire 2025 MLS winners.
No,
Sean's back, but Chicago. No chance.
No chance.
And actually, that's a good thing. We'll start with the whole Zinkernagel stuff too. We'll go on that though, but because I think that's a good prerequisite for a lot of the MLS stuff that we're going to talk about.
All right, there we go. Anyway, Andreas looking for food. Bogdan, blue tomatoes. I bought a Carlos Hill card and collection pieces yesterday. Sorry, Andy. Sora Burrow, what's up? Thomas said, Alexa Play, it's the most wonderful time of the year by Andy Williams. Apologies for anyone who has an Alexa and it just went off. Looking for food, a K-League version of this show next week. I can't think of somebody less qualified to host a K-League show than myself.
Yeah, that might be a tough
Phoenix
tough
Golf,
solve.
what's up? MLS, great moves by the Revs and Montreal. I know Keith's a little bit of a impact guy now. No? Isn't that where what's his name went?
I mean, congrats on Jalen Neal getting there, but I mean,
don't pretend you'll have that collection.
I temper my expectations there.
Just Mike it, Red or Dead. Almiron next. We'll see. There's the Rashford talk. There's no way Rashford's coming. Sean Kennedy. What? Look at all these people just coming out for MLS. Anyway,
like I said, Laird,
Zink's gonna have 50 decisives, no problem. Anyway, let's talk about Zink.
Yeah. Well, no, so I said that because I think one thing I'm planning to talk about a little bit here is there is a long history, and it gets brought up at MLS. You said this Monday, but I think it actually happens a lot of places with transfers. There's a long history of really, really good pedigree guys coming over here, and it takes them a year. Import whatever you want to, culture shift, our food shit, like whatever you want to call it, right? But guys take a little bit of time. So one thing I've always tried to do on the platform is guys that don't know the league, temper those expectations on that initial pump. Zinkernagel has been a very good player, a lot of places that he's gone to, and he's going to go to probably the worst team he's ever played on with it might take him some time. You might see that a lot of times what we'll end up seeing is the second half of the season they take off. Like the guy that comes to mind is Evander. Everybody was convinced Evander was going to come in here and he was going to average 100. His L40 in the MLS was going to be 100. And I still remember being in probably a chat that all of us were in going, I bet you it takes him to the second half of the season before we start seeing it. And he had a horrible first half of the season for Portland that first year. And then all of a sudden, that second half, you saw him really start getting a groove. And then obviously he was fantastic last year before telling the entire team to F off to end the season. After Laird won him, of course.
Of course. Well, in fairness, I won him like with 3 dots left, maybe.
Oh, God,
so I think the difference between players coming to Major League Soccer, like good pedigree players coming to Major League Soccer and going to other leagues, is this expectation that because they are coming to MLS, they will destroy the league the minute they show up.
The moment they get here.
Right.
First game 100.
And it just doesn't usually work that way. And even when you try to explain that, every single person is like, well, yeah, but this guy's different. And nobody's different. Like literally, I can't think of a single guy who like showed up. More so, I feel like who?
Cucho. Messi.
Well, I mean, yes, we can use Messi, sure.
But but Cucho's a good one though, because he came from Watford, like he was okay. But he hit the ground running.
I mean, this is Cucho. This looks, maybe this time frame is a little shorter, but this looks like Evander to me.
It could be. I mean, I just remember him coming
one
in right
game
away
over 76.
Sure, but that was also it was also pre-Nancy, but like he came in and he started scoring goals right away. It's fine. I guess it's fine. You're not going to get there. It's okay.
Robbie Keane.
I will say those were crazy years.
Maybe Zlatan. He might have done it. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't remember.
But again, we're picking. There's hundreds of transfers and guys coming from Europe and other places, and we're like picking out 1 to 2 guys that it works out with. So
the only reason I say that is because it felt like the one that it feels like guys that come from South America tend to adjust faster. Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. A couple people are talking about Hartel.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he came in and was very good right away. So,
but then
that's
he
a
was
good
terrible.
example.
That's the funny thing.
And then it kind of came down a little bit.
I guess he wasn't that terrible.
Well, it's actually funny too, because if I remember right, and we have enough St. Louis people that watch, if I recall, he came in and he was taking 100% of set pieces. I think Leuven was out, and then Leuven started taking half the sets, and it wasn't nearly as good.
Maybe it was Leuven that I was thinking of. That was like decent early on and then fell off a cliff.
Well, because remember, St. Louis started the season out, and they they won their first 8 or didn't lose for the first 8 games. So,
yep. So, somebody else who was it? Toby brought up Miranchuk. Keith, why don't you? I mean, it's not, you kind of like gave it away right there earlier, but you're a big season 2 guy for these types of guys, and Miranchuk falls in that category.
Yeah, and he already got half a season to do it. So, and then new manager too with MLS pedigree that's been very, very, very good. And you specifically look at who's done well with him previously was attacking midfielders. Whether it was Santi, whether it was Maxi Morales in his best days, all these guys. I mean, that's the team that you somewhat support.
Yeah, I also hated Delia when he was there, but yeah.
Yeah, they were good. You didn't hate him once you left and you got stupid Cushing.
I mean, I hated both of them, to be honest.
Yeah,
like, ever since Patrick Vieira left, the team's a mess.
Yeah, what a joke of a manager he was. But like Talis Magno, he doesn't fit my eye. Let's just go put him on the bench and then ship him somewhere for pennies. But yeah, I mean, I think that Miranchuk is the exact type. I was kind of excited to see this. I almost don't want to say it on here, but Pep Biel sign. He's somebody that I've been eyeing, that I was hoping he was going to come back. I think Trippin isn't the biggest fan from the little bit I've seen, but like that's the kind of guy I really like taking a chance on. He's had half of a season, has a good role, has a good pedigree, should kind of ramp up pretty nicely in year 2.
I'll point out, Harry came out with a video. Harry, was that video yesterday? The U23 MLS U23 players.
Yeah, I think it was.
Whatever it was. Yeah. I don't even know what today is, but recently over on Harry's YouTube channel, he has a U23 video that I watched, and obviously that focuses more on the U23 guys. Was there anyone from that video that you think is like perfectly good as a challenger guy alone?
I mean, the obvious one's Peck, isn't it? I know that's state the obvious. I'm trying to think back though.
How about I change the question? Would you ever play Peck in U23?
If I only had one rare, let's say. No,
I like that answer too.
Yeah,
preparing yourself to have multiple Gabriel Pecks.
I mean, if I had multiple, yeah, but no, he's got to go in challenger realistically, hasn't he? If you've got, if you think he's going to do what he kind of did last year, I know there's a few variables that have changed. Puig being one of them, but I don't think there'd be, maybe Jack McGlynn if he stays. I think Jack McGlynn's got a chance of being, semi. Come out of the under-23 sort of capsule and be a normal, MLS player.
I got to go add my watches because I didn't even think about that, but it seems like Kai should go. And now you have McGlynn. You have McGlynn and that role that we love seeing guys in, right? That 8 box-to-box type of role where you're not going to nearly lose as many possessions as you do as a number 10, but you get a little bit of defensive work, and then he should jump in on all the set pieces. Maybe Gazdag takes the other half. He could. We've seen it before.
The fact he's left-footed helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, he's at least getting half in that situation.
Right, yeah.
McGlynn's a great shout, Harry. Great shout.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm just looking through the video now. Honestly, there's not a ton of amazing options. I say it in the video, especially defenders and goalies. We don't need to speak about them at all. But even midfielders. I mean, yeah, I think it might stop at Jack McGlynn. I'm just kind of having a look. That Hernan Lopez is a decent little player, but he plays for San Jose. He's not gonna. It's just tough, isn't it?
That's Arena now too. That's Bruce Arena there. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
I just, you've shown promise. Luna, Luna deserves a mention if he doesn't move because he is on the brink of getting a move. He just got into the national team squad. Yep. There was a bit of jeopardy last year. I remember when he got left out and he called out the manager and basically said they're just not fancying him for whatever reason, even though he was flying at the time.
Yep.
I think if Luna stays and is in a similar situation, you've got to think that works out. Cole Bassett, I know, Laird, you're a massive fan.
Yeah. Huge.
You know who's a good
yeah,
shout? You know who's a good shout? I
Go
don't
on.
know if he's in the video. Sorry that I haven't
you're
got a
good.
chance to watch, but Brian Gutierrez, which funny enough,
Yeah.
kind of gets hurt by Zinknagel because I think there was a chance that Gutierrez could have had a share, if not some sets, and now I don't think he would. Zink almost everywhere he's gone has taken both sides, so I would just assume he's going to jump in on Monopoly. But Brian Gutierrez is a really tidy, like nice player.
He's awesome. I love watching him play. He's so silky, and he also just got into that squad with Luna as well. So
and Jalen Neal and Jalen. But hey, for defender, Jalen Neal is worth a little. I know I just bought him total, but that's a guy though that broke into the national team early on. Struggled with the Galaxy, getting time, injuries, things like that. But again, another high pedigree guy should ideally walk into Montreal starting lineup, see how that goes. We saw George Campbell at the end of last year absolutely smashing it. And keep this in mind too with the Montreal. It's so funny to think of this. Wilfred Nancy leaves Montreal, goes to Columbus. What do? Hire one of Nancy's assistants to go back to Montreal. Same type of playing style where we've seen these center backs and a lot of guys just churn out AA. So, I kind of like that look.
Is there a reason we're not mentioning the best player in Montreal right now?
Well, I was going to.
Caden Clark. Good. I forgot.
He
looks old
right now.
Looks old.
Yeah, you can't not mention Caden Clark. There's something honestly, Montreal, Bryce Duke. I'm telling you, Bryce Duke takes set pieces. Like he was a favorite of mine last year in a lot of games where at home and favorable fixture. Waterman's a beast. He's not under 23, but Waterman scores like an absolute menace if he's fit.
And let's not forget like the best dressed man in the MLS, Samuel Piette, with his nice tuck shirt. At no point will you ever see any piece of his jersey out of the waistband.
Fully tucked in, isn't he?
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I wonder where Neil, because Waterman likes to play in the center. George plays on the right. And obviously that left side, so it was like Alvarez. Is it Corbo or something? He's gone.
I
like
think they both were pretty garbage.
Couple. Yeah, and is Neil left-footed? I don't think he is he?
No, but I mean, I don't know if that left-sided center back you necessarily have to be. It
No,
helps.
but
It helps with that channel pass, but I mean, you can do it good. But
you probably can. I don't know what Waterman is if he's right or left. If he's left, then that would be nice because Neil could maybe go center there. But even so, yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But you know who was, like you said, Sherman City.
You know who was actually kind of like interesting by the end of last season. Again, I don't know how much he's not going to make my MLS lines, but Marshall Ruddy, who's been on this platform forever, like early pump, but he was playing that right wing back role, and
he's good.
He was getting good. Like my understanding, I actually think I've only watched him play once, but super quick guy, and. You just think those type of players out in open space, like they can be problems. So, that could be a U23 guy too. Joseph, they haven't re-signed yet. They haven't re-signed him
yet. No,
but
like he's not exactly a target man, is he? Sure. He's not big. He can finish. If the ball's in the box, he'll try and put it in the net, but he's not going to be like winning aerial duels in that sense. So if you're talking crosses, the ones on the floor, the only ones that probably are going to turn into goals if we're talking Martinez. But like you said, he's gone. Opoku's left. Not that he's up to much. I think he's gone to Egypt, by the way, which is a bit.
It was like Egypt or Greece. It was blue. It was a red to blue X. So
he's completely gone, I think. Ibrahim, they're crying out for a forward unless they haven't really signed anyone, have they? Really? I
don't know. They had some
Koroko or something.
Yeah, who he actually has a little pedigree. Yeah, but then Joseph just absolutely outplayed him.
Yeah. No, you're right. So I tell you what, Saliba was captain in Montreal last year for the last 10 games.
Yep.
He is somebody that's I mean, he scored pretty well in a couple games, like 80 pluses. I don't know if we're going to see. He's 20 years old.
2 games.
Yeah, but the rest he wasn't even starting. Though.
I just love that you had the memory of these 2 games. The 2 games on SofaScore. Harry's
I played him.
Dude,
I had him in my lineups.
8.1 and 8.4.
I had him in my lineups. But yeah, outside of him, Bogusz is still under 23 if he doesn't leave.
He's got to be gone. Yeah, he's got to be gone.
I mean, yeah, you'd think so, but if they don't bring in anyone incredibly high profile, then who comes in for him? Really? The Celtic move was the one, wasn't it? If you'd gone to Celtic, that would have probably been a nice move for him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did not have Montreal
sneaky this year.
I don't know. Well, if you go based on play style, like I know, like a lot of the MLS like talking heads were actually like really excited for Montreal going into next season, like playing pretty football and stuff like that. And they played really, really ugly football for about a half of a season, and then kind of figured it out. And then by the time they were trying to sneak, they snuck into the playoffs, were a problem. So you could see that, but like Harry said, no target man should be a problem. And I just saw in chat somebody said Karaku wanted to fight the manager, so that seems bad.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good start.
Why do they have 1 million away games?
Know what though? You know what?
7 away.
That's hashtag like what I love about MLS too is Nashville normally every year gets kicked out of their stadium for the country music festival or whatever it is, and there's like, don't even come. We don't care about you. Go out to the West Coast. But I've always liked Nashville kind of after that first run of the half of the season, they get like a ton of stacked home games in the back end. So I mean, it's Vancouver a couple years back, and then Vancouver to start Champions League last year didn't even have their stadium ready, so they had to like play on like an island or something like that.
It was I'm like fairly certain that was a monster truck rally. Like I'm pretty sure.
My kids 100% support that.
Yeah,
Gravedigger all the way.
While we're in Canada, thoughts on Bernardeschi in Toronto?
That I've never seen. The Toronto FC gonna smash made me laugh. You saw what's happened with them in the last week, right, Laird?
I mean, it's the same stuff that's been happening for months. Everybody.
It's like there was a report. Insigne is gonna come back and all this stuff, and they're like, they're trying like hell to get Insigne the hell away from them. Like they're gonna pay somebody to get him off the team.
Yeah, they don't want him to show up.
And that is Toronto FC.
Yeah, I wouldn't be touching Toronto.
Nope.
There is another player though that plays under 23 forward. He actually went under my radar, even though I was watching most of the league last year. Was Luca Langoni or Langoni, however you pronounce it.
Yes, from Boca.
Yeah, from Boca, went to New England Rev, sorry.
Yep.
And scored really well, considering he came in for like 10 games or something.
He's a nice little player. I got to see him a few times. And they're an interesting team too, because you're going to have Gil coming back, hopefully healthy. Then you have Campana, which, we kind of all forget because he got like buried in Messi choices. But like, that's a guy that came over from Wolves, was a DP. That's good pedigree. He's still here, still young. So you actually give Carlos a striker. And then, the other side should be Chaklan. I can't say his name. Chaklanli, if he's healthy.
Oh, yeah. Thomas
Chankalai or something like that.
It sucks. I love Dylan Barrero, and he's gone. But that was like a fave. But that's an interesting team. That went from unfortunately, they still have a trash manager. So
is it Caleb Porter now?
It is. Yeah, exactly.
Not much outside of that though. For talking under 23s, I mean, Jesus will still be under 23. Up until
you want to
June,
talk about him? You want to? I don't know what you put in the video, but you want to talk about Jesus to Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a chance to be, second best to Peck. I think quite comfortably in under 23s anyway, because there's not that much competition. Luke Oriano's not under 23 anymore, so yeah, there's really not that much comp. If Velasco leaves, which I hope he doesn't, but it does look like quite likely that he goes to Boca. They're going to pay like 10 mil for him. But yeah, I mean, Jesus. I mean, Dallas could be the worst team in the league, by the way, next year if they. I mean, they probably will be anyway.
R.I.P. Germ. R.I.P.
Yeah, Germ. Feeling sorry for you right now, mate, because you're just getting absolutely rinsed of the best players.
But Sebastian Lletget MVP.
Yeah, Quinny's main man, that is. But
I was told it was Sam Junquist season by Germ.
Oh no!
Yeah, they're in a bad way. But Jesus, if he plays, if he's like the focal point of Seattle.
Yeah,
then I think it could be curtains for a lot of the forwards in that league. Like, I think he could score a serious amount of goals. Yeah.
I assume he doesn't sniff a set piece with Rusnak and João Paulo still there, right?
Probably not, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't have pens.
I was gonna say he should have pens. Yeah,
I think he'll have pens.
R.I.P.
They had a couple last year.
There's like my Rusnak.
Rusnak missed a couple last year, and I know that.
I say it's probably better they just take. I don't even have the thought that he can score.
Is there anybody on a pitch in the world that looks more bored than Rusnak? I watch
Yeah, he's
him, and
quite
I'm just like,
lackadaisy, isn't
he looks like he could take a nap. And then he shows up, and you're like, oh man, he's got a lot of quality. But you're like, yeah, he looks like he needs a nap.
he?
Messi.
Yeah, he's not the most athletic in the
No,
world, is
but
he?
Messi at least doesn't look like he has a nap. Like Lusnak, even when he has the ball, look, you sometimes wonder if he wants to like. He's like, yeah, I'll just stand here.
One guy brought up before that we're wondering about the second season thing. Is a favorite of both of you guys, Emil Forsberg.
I'll let Harry go.
I mean, I watched a lot of the Red Bull last year because I had a bit of a stack of them. Obviously, Forsberg got injured, didn't he, for a bit, but started pretty strong, got injured, came back, and obviously helped them get really far in the MLS Cup and whatever. But yeah, if you just watch him play, man, he just levels above it. Like he is just really clever footballer still. And I know he's getting on a little bit now, and there was family issues and stuff. And yeah, it was a weird, turbulent time, I guess.
Family issues. That was very nice.
He caused them. I'm not saying he wasn't the issue. He clearly was the issue. And but you have to put.
All right, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you have to put that on the back burner a little bit because there is a serious SO5 score in there. Even though Red Bulls aren't like the most SO5 friendly of teams, like just the way they set up, all they do is just run and press and nick goals. There's no like really nice possession or anything. And that hurts defenders for sure. But like there's a lot of duels and stuff to be had, I guess, for them. But from him, obviously pens, free kicks, like he is just the guy for them. And if they have, a bit of firepower up there now with Choupo-Moting, I'm not saying he's going to light up the world, but at least he's a bit of a target that they can work off set pieces wise and stuff and crosses. So I don't know if they lose a few players though. If Tolkien, like I just worry if they lose a bit of their legs. Like I think Morgan will still be there and stuff, but like if Tolkien leaves, there's definitely like a few holes that might need patching for them to be really good. But does that really affect Forsberg? I don't think so. I think he'll be mutually exclusive to that. And I think he'll be better than what that looks there, and that looks good enough to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't picked up a Forsberg yet, just because all I ever think about with Forsberg is getting hurt and like him just never being fit. That's a crap. Like he could be fine. I think, like Harry said, he is levels above. You just throughout that guy's career, it's always something that like stops him as it goes. But look, these prices on a lot of these guys, especially the classic version, are not going to break the bank. Like, what are we looking at? $25 there for the floor. Like from a rare perspective, like go for it. I probably need to pick up a super rare just to have it in there. But.
Well, I'm going to show you why you should like Emil Forsberg so much, Keith, because he's right on brand for you. So these are all of his starts.
Home guy.
Red Bulls. 62.5 is his average per game, but at home 71.9.
There you go.
Away 56. Now, granted, and I don't, not that you should like throw out games like this, but these last three were playoff games, and like playoff games are rarely like high scoring.
And keep in mind,
MLS.
Every single one of those games, Red Bull was supposed to lose. Like,
right, yeah. They were up against every game.
Every single time, like they were up against it. And then, you had the one game versus Columbus that they got at home, but they had just won the previous game going away. So then they just take on everything. And like, that's not where you want your highly, the hardest part about like a Forsberg and any Red Bull player over and over again is what Harry just said, though. They all lose a shit ton of possessions because it's just a style. Like they just want to chunk balls forward. Like Red Bull football is get in the attacking half and press, let people make mistakes up there. Well, guess what? If you're just chunking balls forward, your possession losses on Sorare are going to be brutal. So, you lose some AA, but obviously you have a huge decisive upside with him. I'm fine. On Red Bull, if you buy a Choupo-Moting, I have a number of other people at the bottom of my gallery I would love to sell you. Like, don't do that to yourself. Come on. We're smarter than that.
The optimism on Choupo-Moting is so funny to me.
Oh my God. I saw people like, oh, he's going to have a great year. I'm like,
do we have an
update? Even if he scores 15 goals, you're not going to be happy about the scores that you get on SO5. He's just not good enough.
Agreed. I was going to bring something up, which I'm still going to bring up, but I need to. I was going to bring up a few people have mentioned in chat whether John Tolkien is going to stick around, and I think the expectation he's gone. But on the topic of is he going or is he staying, everyone needs to go over to Twitter and follow Sorare Deek here at Sorare Deek.
Like right now.
right now, Deke basically does a recap of all of the MLS like rumors and news every single day. It's an incredible amount of work, and he just gives it to us for free.
It's
on Twitter. So
thank you by the way, because I mentioned like we got to make sure. So thank you. I already forgot, but like I'm trying to retweet it like as my hero. Like the amount of work that he puts in there. I asked him like to send me. He has like a list of all of these accounts that he's following, like from every team, of trying to get every rumor. It's an insane amount of work. I've benefited personally so much for this. It's very like, Deke, you're my hero. So thank you, dude.
Mike is also adding here. Yeah, I don't know if he has like a regular streaming schedule right now, but he did during MLS, going over the lineups that he does for every lineup prediction service out there.
That's so good.
Yeah, Deke's it. Forsberg brought up this whole like the fact that there are a lot of elite midfielders in MLS. Not great examples here from Joao because like Ricky Puig is out for most of the year. I think Evander is expected to leave. Gald is fine. I'm going to let Keith go first here. Keith, who are the 5 best midfielders for Sorare in Major League Soccer?
Coming up this season, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to go like just based off of rankings.
Like if you could have 5 of them, which 5 do you want?
So I want Hartel. I do think that that's a second year bump for sure. I'm bullish on Moranchuk. I just think
2 super rares might say that. True.
I mean, if you follow along my gallery, I did for the first time in my so rare life, I bought and went after guys that I think are going to do really well versus whatever was the best deal. I just was like, these are guys I want to be happy to build around. These are guys I want to watch. I want to I think could crush, and that's who I bought. So I like those 2. Gald, I am on the fence on. I think he's still, from a talent perspective, way, way, way up there. It would just be interesting their team, like Stuart Armstrong being there is like really good. I want to say Gald. I'm gonna pause. I'm looking through my list still.
He might be 6.
He might be like right there. I think Gil is right there too. Honestly, actually, I'm gonna put Gil there because I think recency bias has us even pushing him down because he had a struggle last year. And Andy Black is awesome and skews our perception of him. And Sean's just not been on enough lately to remind us of the GOAT. But Porter's, I hate Porter. I'm not a big Caleb Porter fan. But if you actually look, attacking mids, like, Zeller Rayon, some of his best years were with Porter. It was funny. I was big on Evander last year because if you actually looked at Phil Neville, for as bad of a manager Phil Neville is, his attacking mids always do insanely well. So like who did Miami have for like just briefly that did well, Harry, that end of that last season? Oh, Pozzuolo. They got Pozzuolo, like who we thought was just done in Toronto. They picked him up for nothing, and then Pozzuolo looked like MVP Pozzuolo before he left for Qatar. So I'll get those 3. I'll definitely put Gil there.
Does Lucho makes the cut if he stays?
For sure. I just seems like Lucho wants out.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I think that they got Dinky in part to try to maybe make Lucho happy, and Lucho's like, I actually don't care.
Yeah.
I want to go. I was thinking about this morning too. I wonder how much. Remember, Lucho became an American citizen and still hasn't sniffed the national team. I wonder how much of that is just like, F you guys. I gave it a shot. I stayed here a little bit longer. But remember, Lucho was great in the MLS for DC United. Something happened, that PSG move. He didn't get it. He was pissed off, stayed for a year, goes to Atlas, was like, oh my God, this was a huge mistake. Comes back, and I don't think he's long for the league. Let's just put it that way.
Atlas was before that, though, wasn't it?
No, it was DC United, then Atlas.
Yeah.
And then it came back to Cincinnati. But remember, DC United, so remember, the weirdest header in the history of MLS. And by the way, the excitement that all this has and all these crazy things we're talking about, like with Forsberg's lady friends and all this stuff, like this is what makes MLS just unbelievable. And then we get to play Sorare on top of it. But Lucho is, people will forget this, the Wayne Rooney 90-yard crossball. As crazy as that play was, Lucho Acosta hit a header
Yeah, like
A
that highlight
flying-
ended with Lucho heading the ball into
and
the
nobody
That's
remembers that
hilarious.
because it was the Wayne Rooney highlight. But
Yeah,
it's Lucho Acosta on like a flying header from like 20 yards away in like the top corner. It's the most ridiculous play ever. But then he got he got PSG rumors and he wanted to do that, and something happened. It broke down. He blamed DC United for not making that move happen, and so he goes "F you guys," and he goes to Mexico. Oh yeah, here we go. Well, let's just watch it. Oh, I forgot the goalie was up too.
Yeah, the goalie was up.
Yeah, so
And Rooney with the greatest tackle in MLS history.
Why do you not shoot this?
This is
Harry?
actually a tackle
Harry.
one,
Why are
by
we
the
not
way,
shooting
because
that? Honestly,
Rooney got the ball.
but here we go. Here comes Lucho.
It is a tackle one, yeah.
Oh, that's a tackle one.
Yeah.
for
And then
a
there's
triple
Lucho in the
Here,
back.
flying header.
All 5'1" of them.
He's got
I'm surprised he
trampolines in
can
his
get
feet.
over the stanchion at the back.
Go on, Lucho.
And he's like, all right.
Yeah, Rooney hasn't run that hard in his entire career.
He's like, I'm not even celebrating with you guys. You all know what I
That's
did.
amazing.
Like, look at him.
Baby
He's like
Lucho.
smaller than everybody who's just celebrating.
Germ. Did Rooney get a last man tackle for that?
It's a good
He
question.
should.
I don't know.
He's got
That's a
to.
double decisive.
He's got to get a last man tackle.
Has to. There's
Surely,
nobody
yeah.
behind him.
Surely.
There's no goalie.
Yeah. This is not even a goalie. You're right.
Hold
He's
on.
like the definition of a last man tackle.
So is that the most Sorare points in a play ever?
Has
Is
to
it that?
be.
Key
It has to be.
key pass, big chance created. Is that even a big
Last
chance? It
man
might
tackle.
not be.
No, it's
Last man
not key
tackle?
pass. It's not a key pass. It's not an attempted assist because it's an assist.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
assist. Yeah.
Okay.
It
But-
could have been a big chance created, but it's probably not going to be, is it?
So
I don't
all
know.
right.
Like that ball was like
Could be. I mean, if he was
trying to think
anyone
of ways.
taller, like if it wasn't Lucho, it's a big chance. Lucho's
I mean,
like
look where he
made that
is.
into it.
Surely you deliver the ball right there. One
Yeah, but you don't
defender in
score.
between.
You don't score from that angle. Like, it's not a big chance for a 5'0" centre midfielder that jumps higher than a 6' defender.
It's
You
so
know?
good.
He's
It's so
made
good.
that.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Anyway,
So who do we put down here? We got Hartle, we got Gill, we got Moranchuk. Golden Forsberg is in there. Lucho's in there. Santi. I don't know how Santi's staying, Harry. I know that's your boy. I don't understand how he's staying and he doesn't go to Brazil or something.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm him, why not live in New York and just be the main man still for another? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess he has aspirations to play for Uruguay and stuff, right? Like, I get that.
Right.
But is
Well,
he
he just-
gonna like with like DLC and like he's just not, is he? You're not
he's
gonna.
not close to those guys.
No, he's
Yeah,
not
he's
playing
not-
that.
I mean,
You know, he's an MLS like really good number 10,
Really good
but that's
player.
about it. Like, where else
Yeah.
do you go? Maybe Brazil, like Lucho's. There's some weird thing now going on in Brazil, right? That's becoming like a thing. The Pies made it a thing. You
Yep.
know, I do. From a Sorare perspective, it's quite worrying because players don't normally score that well in Brazil. Realistically, the Pies.
well, I
done well
mean,
in
you
year
just
9.
had Barreal, right? Ended Cincinnati really well. Goes down there and he's like barely starting.
Yeah.
You know,
was he there
Savarino.
before Cincinnati? Wasn't he in Mineiro?
I'm not sure where he came from.
I don't know.
I think he
Might
is
be.
either that or Argentina. But you know, you've got Savarino, who for RSL absolutely demolishing it, then goes down there, started finally doing well again. But like you took a hit on that card when went to Brazil. So like going from MLS to Brazil is not good. Like
You don't want
Almada
to.
did okay, but Almada Atlanta, that's what I
But
want.
still not Almada. It wasn't like
Right.
Atlanta,
I want Almada at Atlanta. I don't want Almada at Botafogo.
Yeah.
You want him on a
Um,
4G pitch. You don't want him playing in the fucking favelas in Brazil. I can tell you that for free, you know?
I was gonna say,
just don't.
in fairness, he was much better there than like if he had gone straight to Lyon and just like rotted
yeah,
on the bench there.
So
Yeah.
let me write. I'm not gonna finish the five. I'll put Hanny in there too because there's a chance that I know you hate Hanny. It's fine, but watch out for Hanny potential positional change. Just watch out. He played a lot of striker, so we'll see what they do. But if you got Hanny forward card, now we're talking Hanny top 5 forward.
Yeah, that could be really good.
So
you don't think Rusnak gets in there at all?
no, I
God, that was
I
so
think-
quick.
it was really
No,
quick.
it's so quick.
That's
That was really
I
quick.
can't. Nah, I can't have that. Sorry.
No, so here's what Pooch is like the exception of the guy that you put a ton of stuff around him and he raises up. Some of these guys, specifically in MLS, like they score really well because they attack all the gravity, They're everything for their team. Like, that's why we like these guys. Like Evander, every single thing he does and I'm not putting Evander in there. If he stays, it's fine. But I don't know if you can come back from telling the whole team and the ownership to F off. Like, I think you probably have to go. No matter how good you are, unless the ownership and the team is going to like get sold. So I'm not putting him there. But I do want to go like two really sleepers though. Like guys that if I probably should be inclined to take a whirl on. So, well, so just real quick, before I do the sleeper, the Rusnak, again, I just don't know if he's the type of player that you put a lot more good players around him that necessarily helps. Like De La Vega's there. That was a big signing last year. That could be some set pieces too. João Paulo's back. I thought he was going to leave.
João Paulo was there the whole time.
Yeah, João Paulo couldn't get a game over.
No, he wasn't. João Paulo was just washed by the end of the season. So it was interesting they brought him back. And I'm a João Paulo super rare owner, and I don't even consider like playing him anywhere. So I'll just see. Rusnak's there. It's disrespectful for me not to even consider him. It's never been a Rusnak guy.
Thank you.
Two sleeper picks I would love for Harry to speak on. My first one, and then I'll pause and let Harry go, is Joseph Rosales from Minnesota. Do you even know Joseph Rosales too much?
Does it fall into like that does everything for his team situation?
He doesn't do
like
everything.
Left back one.
Yeah, he's a left back, but he has like a crazy left foot. He takes almost all their set pieces. He's also like really aggressive, like the guy that you're really worried could be like on the cusp of a red card if you watch him play. He's just like really aggressive. And then they got a really good they got a striker at the end of the last year. So just watch him. Like your scores aren't gonna like he's not jumping off the page at you, but again, it's one where his eye test is like, oh god, this guy's really talented. De La Vega, second year bump, very possible. Not like on my list. I'll tell you, Harry and I, what was it? One of the playoffs games.
Lads. I'm sorry.
He people like
great
him.
Hair,
great hair. Yeah.
But if you watch him play, you kind of go, I'm out.
He's just like too erratic. He's too erratic. I don't know what position he is either. Like he plays on the wing, but like he's not that quick.
He doesn't know either.
Yeah, like and he's not going to displace Rusnak. He's just become a DP himself. Like there's just I don't know where he fits in. Paul Ruthick was 10 times the player he was.
I love Rothrock. I love
He was
Rothrock.
good. Like he was really good.
You know what's funny too with Rothrock? You saw who Seattle's about to bring in, right?
No.
Polynips. Polynips is on his way. You can say that, but he's a better real life player than Sorare player. But my thought is, if you really like De La Vega and thought he's locked in, you're not talking about bringing in Areola. Like that's like an insurance policy.
Oh, Paul Areola, yeah, him and Ferreira.
Yeah. Harry didn't get the Paulie Nips joke there.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Where's
sense.
the going?
He's in Atlanta. I know a lot of people think
his legs are gone.
His legs are gone. And then you put him on the worst pitch in the league.
The world. Literally the world.
Literally the world.
And then, I mean, I think he's fine, but like, you know, I would be more excited, and he's not like super. I'm more excited about Saba than I am Klitsch. And I thought Saba at the end of the season for Atlanta was really nice. And then Moran.
He needs to be a forward, though. He needs a forward card, Saba.
Right.
He loses the ball too many times. Yeah. I don't know.
Georgie?
I think sleeper Shambo deserves a mention.
Oh, hold on. Somebody mentioned him before.
You took it. That was my second one.
That was your second one. Sorry.
Well,
I thought he would be in there, and I just didn't give you the chance to give you the second.
And say his name right, Harry. I know I'm the pronunciation guy, but it's Shambos. It's the boss.
It can't be.
Sham? No, it's not. I'm naming him that.
No.
Sham.
Oh, you are.
Man.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Sham Boss. But no,
Kennedy was on that about 20 minutes ago, I think.
So I want to say this though with Shambos though, like with like an asterisk. He is in this conversation if Rossi goes. I think.
Wasn't he taking set pieces anyway?
Yeah,
he was splitting. He was splitting.
Yeah.
He was splitting.
So like Rossi's right-footed, so like the sets that like wouldn't suit him. Chambo was on a lot of sets when he started getting into that team towards the end of the season.
But he wasn't a locked-in starter. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, no, he weren't. But then those 3 games, he weren't, and then he just popped off for 3 games basically. Was
when they would put him in like midfield, like they would try to like shoehorn him into the lineup. They put him in midfield, and he was garbage. Like he just couldn't,
next to Nagby.
He couldn't affect the game. But then like they almost like try to see if he was like Aiden Morris, and like nobody is.
Oh no, he's nothing like Aiden Morris. He doesn't press and stuff, but like he's got a really tidy pass on him. The issue, like the difference between like a Rusnak, like if you watch Seattle's games, Rusnak hardly touches the ball in build-up play. Like he's not actually like say for Ricky Puig is getting on the ball from the center half and he's like running into midfield. It doesn't happen. Rusnak is not that type of player. The reason Rusnak's very good on this game is because he's amazing at set pieces. Simple as.
Absolutely.
Like if he didn't have set pieces, he'd be dust, and I mean like complete.
Well,
dust.
he was dust for like a year and a half when Paulo was taking them from him.
Exactly.
Again, he's just not.
I don't even think it was that long, to be honest.
But
it felt like an eternity, but it wasn't that long. It was like his first 3 quarters of the season in Seattle.
My problem with Rusnak when you watch him is he's just not assertive. Like, I made the joke of he's asleep, but he's like very.
Are we really eye testing now? This is what we're doing.
Yeah. No. But we'll see. But again, you've got to be careful though with like a non-assertive guy when you bring in all this firepower around him.
Mm-hmm. But
because Jesus Ferreira is going to be like, I'm going to get mine. Jomo is going to get his.
The difference is between like a Rusnak and like a Santi Rodriguez or even a Shambo. From what I saw, like they're on the ball so much in the final third, passes wise. Like they are like if their team have possession, like they are trying to find Santi and Shambo, and we can add other names in there. Gold, sorry. Like they just rack up so many final third passes in general, and whatever, because their whole team is trying to find them. Whereas like on Seattle, they're not actually trying to find Rusnak all the time. They're just not. Like if he's on it, fine, but like he's not the focal point,
Sorry, Quinny's comment just.
Hey, I'll buy Laird Super. Rusnak off him in a heartbeat.
So Harry. So I want to make 2 comments in chat. Hilo said no one operates like Pooch in the MLS. There actually is one guy that operates very much like Pooch, and we've all forgotten about him. His name's Carl Skill. So the same exact role. Drop really, really deep. Go. Mm-hmm. You guys can get the ball up the field. Watch me dribble 60 yards into the attacking position. So that's what Pooch did.
My worry though with Miranchuk, I went to watch Atalanta play live.
Atlanta or Atlanta?
Atlanta, sorry, yeah. I watched him play. Thomas was there in the chat. I met up with Thomas and whoever else was there. And we went to watch him, and that day was rubbish. Like they played Nashville and they were horrendous. Yeah. But my worry is with him, they weren't really looking for him as much as I'd like them to. Like comes in, should be the main man, and wasn't playing like that. And I know toward the end he got a bit better and stuff, got the assists and whatever. But if you actually watch the games, they're not necessarily always looking for him. Saba was more of a better option, realistically. If both are free, they're looking for Saba because he can take players on and stuff,
And guess what, though? New manager. So.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the player. You know what I'm saying? Like, the player's still the player. Like,
but they had him playing as like a second striker, too. So,
but I honestly... I get it. Yeah, he wasn't as good as I thought he was. Obviously, got better, like, if we're talking DAs and stuff. But, like, I don't know. He's not a Carlos Heel. He's just not as small and agile as that. It just doesn't work as well, I don't think. It was the worst game.
I agree. I agree from what I said. Again, that's one of these, like, pedigree plays. Like, just figure it out.
Yeah, you'll get better. I'm not, like, shitting on the buyer, because I own one myself. But, like, he just wasn't as, like, dominant as I'd hoped he'd been. Or, like, he didn't, grab the game by the balls type of situation. I didn't like the lack of that, if that makes sense.
So, I looked up on Sorare data, most passes in the final third in the last 40 game weeks for MLS, and it's skewed obviously for the playoff teams. So like Ricky Pooch is like way ahead.
Yeah.
So it's Ricky Pooch, Lucho, Carlos Heel, and then another guy that I'm surprised Keith didn't mention as a possible sleeper, Amin Bassi.
Yes, I saw that in chat. I feel like it. By the way, go to auctions, and if the person's in chat, I'm so sorry. Go to auctions and offers for Super Rare and see the price that I paid, and Harry will be upset.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it on the market for that, and I was just like, what is it doing there? Someone's going to buy that.
What? What happened? And by the way, that wasn't what it was listed for. I offered $13. I think the guy listed it for like $19 or $20, and my first instinct was just instant buy, and then I was just like, I actually felt bad. I'm like, I hope that wasn't like somebody accidentally missing a zero or something. Let me just like
buy it.
I sent an offer, just like, hey, making sure this wasn't a mistake, and they accepted instantly. I'm like, okay. No, so I mean, he took all the sets for Houston. Houston without Herrera though is like that's a different team. So we'll see. But I mean, for $13 and for just to see what happens. I mean, he's a good player. The hardest part with Bassi and Laird owned a rare. Almost every single one of his decisives is a PK.
I didn't have his card. I've never had.
You had him briefly, I thought. No. Okay, I thought you did.
Mm-mm.
You sure about that? Do I know your gallery better than you? I don't know.
I'm.
No, I don't think he's had a Bassi.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Okay.
Laird's not a Bassi guy.
No, I mean, but again,
Did I win it and then immediately sell? Like, I don't think I've ever.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong here. But no, I think he's a good player. Again, even as an owner, I'm not like beyond excited about him, but I could see it. Yeah. Like if all of a sudden he was a top 15 type of guy, like that could very well be possible. Somebody was asking about DC United sets.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're here.
Well, yeah, why
Benteke, I get it.
Like, yeah, Benteke makes everybody think of sets.
So just looking, like TKP, Theo de Cupichietro, however you say his name, he's taken some in the past. Jackson Hopkins, when he broke in, was taking sets. Herrera has taken some for Guatemala. But like any of these guys, I'm not getting that excited about. And it makes me less excited about Benteke too.
Yeah.
But you know he's going to get his.
Jared Stroud went through a nice little purple patch at one point. Like he had 6 DAs in 5 DAs in 3 games.
I know, Harry. I bought him during that time. I decided to do a DC United stack. I don't know why.
Yeah, 3.
Do you think you will not be able to compete with a Bassi?
That's back to that whole in-season versus classic debate, and then like in-season when Europe and everybody's going, is Bassi the guy you want in your top lineup? Probably not, but you know if it's your second or third lineup, and you know it's the right matchup, they're at home. Dynamo is a big-time home team. I'm fine with it. I mean, I own one, so I'm good with it. I mean, I'm not getting super excited. You
didn't mention any of the Miami guys.
Because there's one guy. Although Alba is awesome. Alba is awesome.
I mean, they were all like the 4 of them were awesome last year.
I can't get there with Suarez. I just feel like one time the shots aren't going to work and he can't walk that night. He's going to be out. He's going to DNP. Like, oh, why did Suarez not? He trained all week. Oh, like, oh, we gave him this pain injection and his foot doesn't work tonight. So
I think he plays a lot more than people realize.
No, he does. He does. But then you like watch the little like stuff on like what they have to do to get him to be able to play.
Yeah.
And you're like, his foot's like dead. And they bring it to life for the game, and then it dies again. It's like really scary.
While we're playing the eye test game, when I went to the Miami New York City FC game, Messi's worst game in the history of his entire career, literally. Suarez moves like he's completely broken,
right?
And then just like Messi, like season opening and starts to sprint.
Yeah,
makes his move, and then he stops and he looks broken again, and he's just like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that."
What's your Harry? You probably know more about like Redondo than me, but like, what's your take on that? Like, a really good player.
Retains the ball really well and stuff, and chops up play. I don't think he's got much of an attacking output though, from what I saw. Exactly. Retains the ball really well, runs all day. Like he's a box-to-box midfielder. Like you want IRL good, but like there's not if Messi's in the team, unfortunately, he's just going to scoop everything up, isn't he? Outside of Suarez and Alba.
Well, it's like Suarez and Alba and him, and then. Yeah. I mean, it's like a Busquets without, Busquets having 20 years of football ahead of him and like seeing some passes. And, Busquets' the whole thing is that he knows what Suarez and Messi are going to do for their movement, and that's
it's all telepathic, like especially Alba, the way he like cuts those balls back to Messi.
Every single time, man. You're just like, they just know.
Yeah.
I will say about Redondo, he looks huge. Like I just looked up, he's 6'2".
He's huge,
and he moves around like he's like 6'5", 250.
He's lanky, like
that,
isn't he?
You know who you said that about?
He was like seemed big when I saw. You know what it was? I'll take it back. This is gonna sound so weird. His legs are big.
Okay,
like his upper body is skinny, but the dude just like doubles up on leg day and then just skips curls. And you're just like, oh,
it's a typical soccer player, like thick
it's a
legs,
weird
like
soccer
like
player
that up front,
that-
you know, like
you know who you said that about previously? You said it to Andy Black years back. You were like, Edward Loven is a massive man.
He is. Growing up here in the US, where the whole like, if our best athletes ever played soccer, and it's like that's the body type of like
there
a classic US
linebacker.
And yeah, basically, yeah.
So take any chat. Then I know we're getting a little bit on. I know I told you guys I have an out like at 2:15 if we get that far, but
yes,
I want to reserve like a spot about the Galaxy.
Okay. I don't want to get there yet because
I know.
Amazingly, ATG brought up a guy I wanted to talk about.
Oh, they're going to be so
Eric
bad.
Tommy, JFR is obviously gone.
He said he's not retiring. He wants another contract in the MLS. FYI, if anybody wants to buy low, potentially, he's gonna play 10 games, and then his hamstrings are each gonna get shot during the game. But
he'll play 10 games, but it'll never be 2 in a row.
No. He gets sniped every game.
You were a big SKC fan before last season. I don't want to call you out on the
shallow eye.
I didn't bring it up, but you were particularly high on Tommy.
Yeah.
Are you not high on Tommy anymore?
I don't know. We just got to see the role. Like they got that was another one of these teams, kind of what we were talking about with Rusnak, that like the reason like the MLS midfielders just go to the top of SO5 rankings is like the guys that are really good know they're so much better than everybody on their team. They're just like, I'm playing with a bunch of scrubs. Like, I need to do this. And so they command the ball. And they just get, like, look at Gill, look at Pooch, look at Evander. They just get tons of ball. Like, you know, the right back should just cross this wide open cross, but he's like, oh, Evander's there. Let me pass him the ball. He's going to do better than me. Like, it's just all this deferralness in the MLS. And so you just get these guys that just attack a ton of gravity. They get all the key passes. Like, that's why these guys score so well. You watch an SKC game, which I just do too much. And the only person that was like an alpha ever for them was Johnny Russell. That's like, I'm going to take it on. Shallow eye defers. Tommy defers. Like, Tommy gets some really good crossing stats and, you know, a good player, like, you know, former Bundesliga guy. So if now that some of that's gone, if he's more like in the middle and he's like, hey, I'm a really quality player. Like, I'm good and technical. Like, I can take set pieces. I can do all this. Then we could see that Tommy that when he came in the MLS actually crushed it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I'm not selling my Tommy shares, but I'm also not like running to get more, if that makes any sense. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Harry?
Yeah, again, he's sharp. You can see he's got.
Sorry, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I have to like put a comment up there.
It's so good. No, that's very right with MLS though. And Carlton hovering. Hold on, what was like shot put?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, I didn't watch much of SKC last year, but I've seen it. He is sharp.
I thought you were saying I didn't watch much Fresh Prince, which I was like, yeah, that's not surprising.
That checks out. That's not on in Wales. Oh, shocker.
No, it was like a thing growing up, but like I wasn't very much into it, to be honest. Bit too young. But he's sharp, but I don't think he'll be, you know, in the conversation of even top 10, maybe on the the brink of that. But
I'm assuming he's cheap as hell because he had a terrible season. Like, if that's a great type of guy though to take a flyer on, like where he has good pedigree. Like you go, the guy has talent. You don't start in the Bundesliga, and then had some really good MLS games too. So you're like, it's there. Just is it going to come out? Who knows?
And if they're not a good team, they're not going to score goals. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are half the time. Like we saw that with Gill last year for a lot of the time. Like if you're not going to score goals, it's tough for them to get the. Yeah, it's just hard. Like you're not going to be a good SO5 scorer if there's not DAs to go around. You know,
right? Like the 25 to 30 AA only goes so far if you never get decisives.
Right.
You need that 25-point boost to all of a sudden go, oh, there's your 85.
There's your 85.
And Shallow Eye was the same way. You know, like again. Good enough players, but you know, if you're looking around and going, who's going to be the man, and they're like, no, it was supposed to be you. It's a problem.
One guy that a few people have brought up, even though we were talking about midfielders, is Chucky Lozano.
Yeah, I mean, could
Year
be
one?
there. I mean, let's just be real. If Kevin De Bruyne comes, that's a completely different story. If it's Chucky on his own, if it's Chucky on his own, you know, he'll be fine. I mean, I don't know if you're going to go like, I had the best challenger season ever because of Chucky Lozano.
If he can stay fit as well. He struggles with injuries.
Yeah. And he hasn't played a lot in the last year or so. Like, those are the guys that just you just have to proceed with caution. Like, don't put all your eggs in that basket would be my thought.
No.
But like,
you've got to watch the first game for me, like at minimum, maybe
like,
even 5.
Harry, Dennis Bouanga or Chucky Lozano?
Come on, that's not even a question.
Similar price.
Well,
No.
that's just stupid then. They can't be. That's just
pretty sure
absurd.
it was.
The only thing I can think of for that reason is you're comparing like a classic Bouanga to an in-season, because Lozano has in-season cards until May.
I'm gonna pull up. Are we gonna look at rare?
Bouanga's floor is £40
Well,
last
that's a
month.
mid, but it's 40. I'm looking. Yeah,
$44 for Bouanga.
Yeah, he's cheaper. He's a bit cheaper.
There he is.
Okay, Chucky's a little bit cheaper, 32. But I mean, I'm still finding $20.
God, he's only 29.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? How is Lozano only 29?
I will say that the optimism of people who were like, this guy's hurt all the time and is now going to MLS, and they're like, he won't be hurt anymore.
It's just
it rarely helps.
Yeah, I think that one's. I'm not saying he won't be good, but yeah, I'm just not having Chucky Lozano. He's never shown me enough to be like, wow, he could go to that league and just smash it. You know,
but
go on.
I was gonna say the talent. There is enough talent there that if all of a sudden he was great, because I mean, think of Carlos Vela. Think of Vela though. You know, Vela was just everywhere, and then comes to LAFC. But like a lot was built for Vela to be successful right away.
This is a first season for San Diego and stuff. I just worry, like, unless, like you said, if a De Bruyne comes or whoever, like, then maybe
that's a different story. That's a different
story. Yeah, but even then, I don't know. Like,
hold on. Hey, Kevin De Bruyne comes to San Diego. What's his L15 average in the MLS?
I don't think he'll be that good. I can put that on record now. His legs are finished, boys. If you've watched him recently, he's finished. You don't need nearly as many legs in the MLS. But I'll just say you don't. But you need players around you. You need good players to pass the ball to.
As long as you have players around you with legs, you don't need the legs.
Harry, here's the reality of the MLS, okay? You could get a bunch of American boys just to run and say, you guys actually don't need to do anything other than pass to Kevin De Bruyne, defend, run, and be a pain in the ass. We've got plenty of those guys. we can do that.
I don't think you'll be that good. I'm telling you. If you had De Bruyne and 10 Americans, there's no way you'll be that good. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm not asking to be good. I don't care about real life good. I care about my SO5 scores.
No, I don't think he'll be SO5 good. Whatever good you want him to be, he won't be. I'm telling you.
I love the sizzle of that take, but
I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that much of a hot take.
12 DMPs. Yeah. By the way, I'm normally the pessimistic coming to MLS right away, but De Bruyne is just like so many levels. Like it's very similar to like Messi kind of coming in.
You've got 3 years old De Bruyne in your head. Trust me right now. He's not that guy, lad.
Injuries are the only thing that, like, if he's on the field, he's the best player on the field.
Without a doubt. But Harry, I love the sizzle. We need that. That's
can run. Content. People are saying about passing. Ricky Puig's like 25, lads. He can run all day long. He weighs like 10 stone soaking wet. De Bruyne, his legs are finished.
Well, can I give Harry the one example that he could spot on? Do you remember the last time a really, really stud European guy came in here and absolutely flopped? Lorenzo Insigne?
Yeah, legs are gone. He's like 3'5".
There's no he doesn't score 100 every game. Oh my God! Now he has Bernadeschi, and even when he played, he was.
Yeah, Insigne is a weird one. Like you can see there's glimpses of 90s in his game. You can see that, like, he's got quality, but it was just obviously didn't happen long enough.
Right.
This is Insigne and starts 63.
Actually, he was a lot better than I thought. Huh?
Right? He was good. Yeah, I watched him. He scored some unbelievable goals last year. I remember watching, thinking, "Wow, like this guy's he is unreal on his day."
He just wants a cigarette.
Insigne's never had legs, so they're clearly got. You know what I mean? Like, he's never been quick. He's literally 4'5".
Mhm.
Not
Yeah,
quick
he makes
at all.
Lucho look big.
He literally does make Lucho look big. Like, he was good. Bernardeschi was like, you watch him play and you're like, yeah, he's a bit more leggy, he's bigger, like he should work, but it just didn't really work that well for Bernardeschi.
He got lots of PKs.
Yeah.
Kennedy here said KDB and 10 Americans reeks of when Bex went to Galaxy. He plays these killer passes to spots where nobody is, and even if they're there, they flub the chance. All I read there is like passing the final third, big chance created. Like, all, it's just like,
yeah, but he's gonna
Bex
lose
probably
possession.
had 46 AA every game.
Yeah, I love it.
Nah.
I love it.
Insigne
So I'll
had
give
legs
you
and
one
no
more. Just came to my mind before we get into the Galaxy talk. Here's another one that, funny enough, it's on my brain because of Galaxy, and I got lucky as hell on his card. People were talking about Klitsch earlier in Atlanta. It's like, could this be a really good play? I don't see that one as much, but the one I do is Gaston Brugman to Nashville. I think is really interesting. Like, really interesting.
Good player.
Oh, no, it wasn't Brugman. Sorry. I was going to say Brugman was on this list of passing the final third, but it was your boy Delgado.
Oh, Marky Delgado. Talk about legs. Talk about legs for days. Holy cow, that guy runs. But no, Gaston Brugman,
Bradley, by the way. You can't talk about running without Michael Bradley.
Former Serie A guy. Beginning of the MLS season, we were all really excited, and then he had, or was it like last year, just had bad injuries, but possibly takes away some set pieces from Hanny. Does a lot of defensive work. Like, literally the exact mold of a Sorare guy that we want.
Yeah.
That's like aggressive, is in tackles, and then has quality on top of it. You know, was the championship MVP. Be interesting.
It's a great three, that Brugman, Tangzeth, and Hanny. Like, it looks a lot better compared
to. It was
what
actually really
Sean
funny.
Davis and stuff. They've had a terrible midfield for a while.
You know what's funny though? Sean Davis is like one of those dudes that could do a job. Like, didn't actually want.
Like,
right. But like, you kind of wanted that midfield three because, you know, I guess Dax isn't there, but like, think about the national teams that was just Dax just cleaning up stuff. So it's just fun. But no, Gaston Brugman, like, I think his price went up a little bit, but he could be a really interesting guy. Again, that just fits the Sorare mold that we look like. You know, think about like years back, like Jack Price before everything. Like, that was a guy that was just churning out AA from tackles and set pieces. You know, Brugman could be a very similar type of guy.
Somebody asked about who our favorite team stacks were, and my only response is I would never full team stack a team in MLS.
There's one team, you just don't play the goalkeeper.
Oh, it's funny you say that because somebody, where was that? There you go. Hilo said there's not one MLS team at 5 stack, 4 stack. There's a bunch of them.
It's Kalina and 4 players basically.
Or just
it's the opposite, right? The opposite.
Or
and 4 guys from Columbus,
or just buy a European goalkeeper or a Brazilian goalkeeper to go with. And I'll be honest, there's not. If Kai leaves, you know, this was Sean and I were talking about last night too. Is there's not like a ton of defenders. No. Like Harry, I'm gonna.
There's
put
not a
you
ton
on
even
this
if he stays.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna stay there. We're gonna do that again, Laird.
No, I'm just saying, like, he stays. That's one. It's not like.
Well, Alba was really good. Alba was really good.
Amador was good. He's a player.
Oh, hold on, Laird. Hold on. Amador caught some Laird strays on Monday. Ooh, so why don't Harry? Why don't you talk about that?
I don't know. I didn't
see
that.
Him. You like him? No,
I like him. Yeah. I think he's good.
Laird is exact words. Because I was. He said, "But what happens if he doesn't get assists?"
Well, he gets a last man tackle and scores 93 against.
I was gonna say, what's the answer here? What do you get?
It's all.
That's an unsustainable assist run.
Well, just because the game's finished, Led, he couldn't show you anymore. Let him have a few more games, and he might be able to show you a few more. So he's basically what Brooks Lennon was on the right, but Brooks Lennon's dust now.
Well, Brooks Lennon destroyed his shoulder in that game, in one of those games too. But the interesting thing is in like MLS, you don't get a lot of these center backs that rack up. Like, you don't have any Pascagli, Flamengo type of guys.
Yeah, these like huge, overwhelming favorites in every game that.
You know, somebody mentioned Zimmerman, who I like. You know, Jackson Reagan, Yeimer. By the way, just be careful with Yeimer. He has a lot of rumors out of here, and I don't think he's under contract. Yeah, I was going to buy a super rare, and all of a sudden I typed in Ymar on X, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, maybe I'll go with Reagan. But if you see Ymar go, guess who back? I think he's still there. Guess who backs up Ymar?
Not John.
He
Bell.
was no, not John Bell, but he was a Sorare legend, and none of us knew.
Oh, Arriaga?
No, Nathan. Nathan
Oh,
from San Jose.
yeah,
Remember? Yeah. No, but you remember like the amount of tackles.
He was a beast for like a game.
No. He had like a run. His everybody was like so excited to get a Nathan. There we go.
What's funny is that you're saying Nathan because that was the Bettis guy, but this is actually just Nathan.
I think it's Nathan though.
I'm trying
to work on my pronunciation in 2025, Laird. So you can't clip me with 97 different ways to say Betis. But going back to the San Jose stuff, it might not be that great. My memory might be like.
Is he still in Seattle?
Yeah, I think he is. Oh, no club, so maybe he's not. Maybe,
wow.
But some of those are weird because they're not signed type of thing. But he was one of these guys that just had a ton of peak scores in San Jose. Yeah,
it's a crazy score.
And that was
nuts, isn't it?
allowing 3 or 4 goals too, and then still
ridiculous.
getting 100.
Can we point out here the 60 AA away to Seattle?
If you watch, he's kind of a bit of a psycho though when you watch him. Like he just has to be involved in every tackle. Yeah, he just has to be involved in every single duel and tackle, which also can result in red cards.
Nathan was fighting forest fires with a watering.
But no, he was definitely a fun guy. So we'll have to see. I didn't know. I know he was the backup last year, but maybe I didn't.
So the issue we have here, Ben said Brazilian defenders will be the best for the summer, in my opinion. What do we have? Corinthians and.
But are we going to get new cards? Are we going to get new cards?
Right, and we don't even have new cards.
That's the problem.
Right, yeah.
Like that's the hardest part about Brazil going because I've seen a couple of people go, okay, so in season is Brazil goalkeeper, defending goalkeeper. My thought is if you are looking to play in season, you might not have that choice.
Right. They have these two right now.
Which America I don't know anything about either.
Those aren't the ones you want either.
No,
right.
Definitely not.
Good to know we lost Corinthians and where was Hendrick?
Palmeiras. And that sucks because what's his name? The new
Hendrick.
Yeah. For Chelsea's probably not going to get minted now.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're playing in season, and you should play in season.
Yes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the Galaxy because we're running out of time for Keith.
I'm gonna let Harry start because I'm very biased on the Galaxy, but I'm gonna let defer to Harry to start.
I think there's obviously outgoing, so you can definitely say that weakens them. We're going to call Puig an outgoing because he's not going to play. Obviously,
I think he's going to play another year. But
it's not going to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't going to count for the first, let's say, 6-7 months, really. Right. So, there's definitely holes. But I think even still, they've just got if Peck stays, Payne's still on the other side. And if Joveljic can continue his sort of form that he kind of showed, not that he's a great SO5 scorer, but he just puts the ball in the back of the net for IRL purposes. I mean, there's no reason why they've just brought Zanka in. I'm not saying Zanka's unbelievable, but he's
they like possession. They like possession too.
Yeah, of course. And they've tried to emulate the Yoshida departure. Obviously, Neil's gone. We're talking about more actual departures right now. And I still think they're in probably the strongest position. I don't think much. That obviously Puig not playing is a massive difference. So there's something that needs to change there. Whether that's Royce steps in, I know he's not going to be Puig, but there's definitely a player there. I wouldn't be surprised if Galaxy come in for a couple more sort of midfielder players to kind of boost things up and just short.
Well, they just got the guy from South America. They paid a good amount of money for it too. They paid $6 million from a Brazilian guy. I don't know much about
that helps. Yeah, neither do I, to be fair. But yeah, from an attacking perspective, Peck and Paintsill could be really dangerous, couldn't it? Really, Peck. I mean, they both could take bits of set pieces and stuff. And no, Puig probably means that one of those two, if not both, definitely have to do more. Basically, someone's gonna have to, sort of absorb the work that he kind of did from an attacking perspective, Ricky Puig. So, yeah, that could just mean his 40 AA gets shared around, 20 each side maybe, or I don't know how it gets, divvied up, but I think there'll definitely be more to do for those type of players, even though they're wingers, But yeah, I think they'll be great. I think they'll be really good.
Lair was making some facial expressions during that, so he saw too much Royce in the chat, and he did not like it.
I mean, I'm not even going to address that. But anyway, I appreciate that they have like a lot of really good players. A lot of those players weren't like dependent on Ricky Puig, but I think you could make. I'm not even sure there's really an argument. Apologies to Lionel Messi, that Ricky Puig was like by far the best player in Major League Soccer last year. And when you don't have that, that's a gigantic difference to just how you play. Of plays where he gets the ball and he brings it up and he finds whoever's there. And now you have somebody else who just like really does not come close to doing the same thing. It's a gigantic difference. And so not to say they will be bad, but to like expect them to be as good it just seems like such a stretch to me.
Yeah. So I'll go the optimist.
Change their play style, right?
I mean, and he had some struggles, but they have, I would say most managers that have won cups in multiple places, like we say, hey, they're a good manager. So Vandy's a good manager. I think my take on them is one, like they actually are relying on Royce here, which is really interesting. As somebody that has a lot of Galaxy exposure, unfortunately, I think I have to do that, like get some in there because look, if Marco Royce can stay healthy, he's still, from a talent perspective, up there in MLS, just pure pedigree talent. But it's a big if, right? Gareth Bale tried to come to MLS and it didn't work out so well, other than a couple
moments. He was a pro golfer by that point. Come on,
he was a pro, right? But again, people were like, "Oh, Bale here," right? So we'll have to see on Royce. What makes me excited and still bullish on them is, Peck is like levels above anybody in MLS. It's actually unfair the position he puts people into. Like, they're one of the most fun teams to watch in the MLS because it was Pooch, but like Pooch would put these balls and then Peck would be one-on-one with people, and it was not nice. And Paintsil, we've known him for a while because of Genk, but before we knew Peck was going to be what he was, it was like Paintsil is actually a bit of a problem in the MLS too. So I think, we've seen a while in the MLS if like teams have two really good wingers that can present problems, they're going to score a lot of goals, which ultimately, and Sorare, we don't really care if the team is the best in the MLS. What we care about is how many decisives and goals they're going to get. And I do think there's still a ton of goals in that team. So, I like them from an attacking standpoint. And, maybe we're not going to be the biggest fan of McCarthy if he even is. It sounds like he's their goalkeeper, which, yikes. But
I just feel like you included exactly why I can't be like overly optimistic. You were like, Puig would get up and get Peck one-on-one, and it's like now they don't have someone that gets Peck the ball in the right spot at the right time.
The difference is you talk about guys normally taking a second-year jump, and you have two still there that both have proven quality other places and were good year one.
And we'll have to see. I'm just saying they're going to have to play very different.
Again, so they got their new guy, which I understand. Again, you're paying $6 million for a South American guy. There's a decent chance that like you have expectations. $6 million for a fee in the MLS is a lot. Royce was brought in to do a job. Again, I don't think he's going to be healthy, but that is a guy that can deliver the passes. Marky Delgado is a very good MLS player. I don't know. It's still just a team that if I'm playing MLS seriously, I want pieces. I want a lot more pieces of them. And then I think that Peck still is just I just spent a lot of money on a Peck Super Rare more than I've spent on anything else because I think, he is that good if he stays. I think the biggest problem with Peck is there's a really good chance that he doesn't finish out the season in the MLS, that he's gone in the summer.
I thought you were going to say you spent more than anything else. And I was like, I think there's a Tadic Rare in your gallery that is good.
Oh,
Peck is cheap. cheap now.
Looks cheap compared to what I paid for Todd and Sorare, right? No, I mean it's just fun, but I don't think any MLS discussion, works without talking about it. Because again, your concerns are valid, but they're going to score a lot of goals. There's still going to be a lot of goals. Again, if I'm going into a game week, the first game week of the MLS season is home for San Diego.
Would you?
Why is San Diego not home for the first week? That makes no sense to me. But
would you argue that Messi is more important to Miami than Puig is to the Galaxy?
Yes, only because MLS seasons are really, really long. Okay. And we all actually forget this, but Puig got hurt early in the season and the Galaxy rolled without him. And Vanny actually started making comments about Puig needs to adjust to us, not to them. So we always forget that because he's so dominant.
Which is just something you say because it didn't actually happen.
They won like every game while he was gone.
I'm just saying, like, he comes back and it's like, okay, we're going.
It's obviously better, right? You don't get like a Barcelona guy in his prime, and it's worse without him. But it was just a very interesting thing. Like, somebody mentioned like Delgado playing well. Delgado had really good scores while he was gone. There's just reason for optimism because of that stretch that they played without Puig. That like maybe they can get 80% of it. And guess what? 80 to 90% of the Galaxy is still, again, from a Sorare perspective, it's still a shit ton of goals and a lot of decisives and a lot of good stuff going around. And the cool thing with them is we know there's a really good chance that Peck and Paintsell are going to be parts of lots of that, if that's the case. So I still am optimistic about the Galaxy, but
Do you remember how many games he missed? Because I just looked it up.
I don't know, like 3 or 4. Not very many.
So he missed 4 games.
Hey!
They didn't win any of them.
Really?
They lost twice, including 5-2 against Minnesota. And then when he
They
came
won the
back,
final.
they lost 4-1.
They won the final without him. Good job. Mic drop. So my memory's not that good.
And then he gets back in and they're like, all right, fuck it. It's Puig again. Puig show.
Mm-hmm.
And then he puts on one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen.
Look at the end there. Holy cow. God. So yeah, take away my my little last my bad memory. I just remember them saying like, yeah, it's bad.
Oh,
I mean, he might have said that for sure.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Ricky
We'll
came
see.
in and was like,
No, he's like, give me go back to getting that. Let me go get back to getting the ball on the other side of the box and dribbling it the entire way. Now,
Do you know they've signed Sean Davis?
No, they traded him. That was Brugman.
Yeah, as in like they have him in. Yeah. How
Again,
funny is that?
I mean that's it. But they had like I think it was like Edwin Cirillo was like the guy that was just cleaning stuff up. Again, I think Sean Davis is that guy just to clean up trash for them.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I mean,
so somebody said quick striker top.
yeah, I was going to say top 3 strikers without Messi.
I mean Benteke. Or are we going strikers or are we going forward? Because that's a different story. But it's Cucho, Benteke,
Peck.
Well, that's not striker. That's
sorry. Yeah.
oh, we're talking legit number 9.
I mean,
No,
when
I'm
I
just
hear
saying forward.
striker, I'm thinking like strikers.
I don't care where anybody plays, actually. What
Okay,
does
well
their
then-
so rare card say?
It's
That's all I
Peck
care.
Cucho, isn't it? It's Peck Cucho. And then
not
pick your
Messi.
choice between Oriano.
I love Lucho. We didn't talk about him, but
Yeah, we didn't. We
Oriano,
should've.
obviously, if there's no Lucho, is like a great card.
Mm-hmm. Like
A great
ridiculous card could be.
Yeah, and I want to say we'll go bookends here on Sean's by that's not Kelvin Yeboah. Who was the Dinky? That's like the most classic MLS type of move that you just got to be careful of. Like gold, like
yeah,
brand new. And if you lose your top playmaker and somebody else has to fill the role, again, it's just somebody I would be cautiously optimistic about.
Do we say though that it's Cucho, Peck, and whoever's third is way below?
kind
It
of.
has to be. What's the sort of rankings to help like remember the?
I'll look at them in a second. Keith, I scrolled too far back. You were correct about last season. They
In
went
what way?
undefeated in the 3 games that Pooch missed.
Wow, Keith's
Here-
back, baby.
You were right.
Here was me
He's
like
back.
eating crow. I'm like,
Yeah, you
oh
were
my
eating
god.
crow. I scrolled too far back. My
And
apologies. Somebody
Laird,
who wasn't
Laird,
at,
just for the
Kennedy.
Laird,
Kenny's been killing it in the live chat, so Kenny corrected me.
you've known me long enough. I have a weird memory about random stuff like this. I was like, I don't have as good of a memory as I thought.
So I'll also just point out home games against Sporting Kansas City. Everyone in the league wins that game.
Sure.
Home against New York. Surely somebody wasn't playing here.
But look,
What is this for front three?
Watch the Delgado and Fagundes scores during that time too, because that's who Vanny pointed out as like they were doing Vanny's comments was something like they're playing more for the team. Okay. It was like a direct shot. 36. Yeah, not so good there. I don't remember the soda score. I just remember the quote.
Here we go. 74 with a wet yellow. Not bad.
And then Fagundes scored there because Fagundes is the guy that came in for him.
And Delgado didn't even play this one, and neither did. Oh, there's Fagundes.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I have no idea about Steve Clark. I own a super rare. I really hope he gets a job too. I have no idea. And don't try to Twitter search it because there's a lot of Steve Clarks in the world. You won't.
It's the most generic name possible.
Yeah. There's only one with a rat's tail though. It's true. You find me another
your
one.
Twitter search is going wrong, Keith. You got to Steve Clark rat's tail.
Steve Clark rat's tail.
Yeah,
that's so good. That's so good. Well, that was awesome. When's part 2, Harry? Are we doing part 2 on your channel?
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. Yeah, we'll do that.
Replace me with Deeks, somebody who knows what they're talking about, please.
Or actually likes the MLS.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny who was here earlier. And yeah, go check out all of Harry's videos. If you're into summer U23 and you like the MLS, there is a video for you. And I can't stop this video without just adding this quick comment here about Jimmy Maurer, who's in Houston now.
He and Andrew Tarbell, baby. Houston and Dallas are going to be fighting for that.
Let's go. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming, and remember to get your steps in.